Hey guys, how you doing? It's Martin Cliffe here. Welcome to another video. Greetings from Bucharest, Romania, from my studio here. This is a little bonus video that I don't know exactly when it will go live, but make sure before you go any further, you click that thumbs up icon. That's very much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already, because a large proportion of my viewers aren't subscribed, and it'd be really cool to have you as part of the community. Drop a comment down below. Hopefully this video will be a little bit thought-provoking. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I was part of a live stream for 5 Watt World, Keith Williams' awesome YouTube channel and Patreon community and everything. Just a couple of days ago, and it got me thinking about the fact that I, and maybe you as well, really need to stop beating myself up about gear choices I have made in the past. Because everyone's tone journey is exactly that. It's a journey. And whether that journey takes you to a place where you have 35, 50, 70, 100 guitars, or whether that is a completely different route and you've gone from, you know, solid state amps to tube amps to modelers to tube amps to solid state amps to tube amps to modelers to who knows what. Maybe you're even just plugging into an iPad or something these days. Everyone has had this sort of tone journey, I think. And there will be decisions that all of us make that maybe, if we look back, weren't the wisest of moves. But the important thing is that every step along this journey, we learn something more. So me buying 9 Suhr guitars over a period of, what was it, 5 years, 6 years, was a journey. And over that time, I have learned which ones I truly love and which ones are great guitars, but I'm a little bit indifferent to. And I've been making these thoughts as I've been working towards narrowing down my guitar collection. Now, I think in videos previous to this that you may have seen, I've talked about my desire to roll down to 8 electric guitars. The more I think about it, the more I'm thinking I'm actually going to go down to 6, which is pretty remarkable. All red and blue will come as no surprise. My Gibson Les Paul that my parents bought me will come as no surprise. Then the Mikey, which I'm going to do something different with because it was a backup to blue, and there's no point having backups, certainly if you're not gigging regularly. So what I was going to do was use my S2 Throwback as my kind of utility guitar, my slide guitar. But I thought, why don't I just use Mikey for that? It's got the best neck. It's the most comfortable of my guitars that aren't blue or old red. So I'm going to do that so the S2 can go. And Storm is a great backup to old red, but it is exactly that. So why don't I let that one go? These are the kind of things that go through my head all the time. But as I want to be, it's not just minimalism. It's partly minimalism, but it's not just minimalism. It's about efficiency. It's about, if I want to get a sound as quickly as possible, I want to know what guitar I'm going to pick up. So I've just talked about 6 going down to 4. The other 2 will be the Telecaster, my Sunburst Telecaster, and my JM Pro, which I'm going to keep in Nashville tuning, which is basically the upper set of strings from a 12 string set, because I love the sound for recording of Nashville tuning, and it's a complete faff to restring another guitar when you come to a recording session. And I think it'll be something that I personally will use quite a lot. So that's the route I'm going down. I was also having a discussion on the community on Facebook for the Guitar Knobs podcast about pedals, because I keep pulling pedals out, looking at them, thinking this is a really great pedal. Can I put it on my board? And I am perfectly happy with my board. And there are a handful of pedals, maybe 8. It may be less than that. There's about that kind of number. So maybe another pedal board worth of stuff that I will keep to one side in case I need a specific tone for recording, or I join a band that needs a specific tone. Because like my current board has 3 overdrive pedals but doesn't have any distortion or fuzz, so I'll maybe want to keep 1 or 2 other options there. So yeah, I'm definitely not going to get rid of every single pedal that isn't on my board. But when I've got 30 or 40 other pedals, some of which are really cool. I love the Zander circuitry pedals. I have 5 of those. But for my application, I don't know that I can find a use for them, even though they sound really, really good. And they're not doing anybody any good sat in a box in a cupboard. But what I don't need to do, and what none of us need to do, is stress ourselves out and beat ourselves up about the fact that we have them. I have them, I bought them, I tried them. I supported, in that case, Alex, who is a small builder in London. Again, I heard about him on the Guitar Knobs podcast when he was interviewed. And yeah, I thought he sounded like a cool guy, and I wanted to support him. So I bought a couple of his pedals, really liked them, so I bought a couple more. Used them for a show when I played in the Wiz in Harrow in Hong Kong. I used, I think, 3 of his pedals on my board for that show. Other pedals are from maybe bigger builders, or maybe builders that I've fallen out of love with. Like I've got some old full-tone pedals, not really old ones, but some of them are from before we came to Hong Kong even. And I've heard things about full-tone that maybe don't quite align with how I personally feel about the gear community. Same with cattle inbred. I have a few cattle inbred pedals, and maybe things have happened there that just raise red flags in the back of my mind. I don't know all the details, so I'm not going to say, you should not buy cattle inbred or you should not buy full-tone. But for me, maybe they're pedals that I want to move on. So yeah, there are things that but they were tone experiments. They were things that sounded cool. I don't have anything that sounds bad. As I start in the new year going through and doing my pedal playthroughs of all the guitar pedals, having already shot all the bass ones, you'll be hearing that these are great sounding pedals. Some are a little quirky, but they all sound really good, and they're all really useful. But so I need to just remind myself, just not beat myself up about the fact that I bought these pedals. They were part of my journey. They were cool. They are cool. But now they can be part of someone else's journey. But I'm not going to stress if I don't sell them in the first month. I will, take my time. I will sell them when the time is right. The guitars, I will move on when the time is right, hopefully to the right people who will really cherish them. Because going out and buying a new Sir, or a new Mike Lowell, or a new Les Paul or something, it's a lot of investment for someone. So I was in a very fortunate state in Hong Kong that I had plenty of spare money. And we were completely blessed, and we paid off our mortgage while we were there. We went on some wonderful holidays. We lived really, really well for at least the first 7 years of the 8 years we were there. We had a really good income, and life was great. But now we've come down to a more realistic kind of level of living. I have some things that I don't need to let go, but I feel I should let go because they kind of reflect something above where I'm at, maybe. And also, they're just, as I'm trying to become more efficient as a person, as a musician, as part of my lifestyle, I want to be, if you will, more minimal, or at least reach this level of enough, which is a huge thing for me. That is kind of one of my tenets. Yeah, the minimalism, or at least enough, and enough is more important than minimalism specifically. You know, I don't care that we have 12 spoons between two of us because they're useful. It's not like we don't use any of them. We don't always use all of them in a week before we put the dishwasher on or whatever. But yeah, 12 spoons can be useful sometimes. But 12 guitars, maybe not. The other big keys obviously are just generally simplifying my life, which I'll be talking about in a video that may have come out by the time you see this, I'm not sure. I'm starting to prepare that. It's actually a video I'm preparing. Wow. And the other thing is about mental health, and my own mental health in particular. I have very much ups and downs in my mental health. So things that stress me out make the downs worse. When I'm on and up, it doesn't bother me at all. But I need to just remind myself, particularly when I'm on a down, not to get stressed about things that were part of a positive journey. Just because now they're cluttering up the space a little bit, and they're really not, they're in a cupboard out of the way. They're not like all over the floor or anything. But I need to just remind myself just not to beat myself up. And any one of you who's kind of going through this, if you've got things that feel like they're weighing you down, just don't allow yourself to get stressed about them. Enjoy the fact that they were part of your journey, and as and when the time is right and the opportunity arises, move them on. Yeah. Be thankful for the part they played in your tone journey and in your development as a person, as a musician, whatever it is. But yeah, that's it. So just really, this is a kind of hopefully uplifting kind of video about, yes, I'm downsizing. Yes, you might want to downsize, you might not. Whatever, you know, wherever you feel like with that. But for me, I am doing this. But I'm not going to let the things that I still have that I haven't managed to clear out yet stress me out. Or at least that's my goal. Who knows where my head will be in a few days. But yeah, hopefully I can just rewatch this video and remind myself not to stress about it and not to beat myself up, because it's all part of the journey. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time, whenever that is.